with many issues, there seems to be, or perhaps the best way to say it would be, the ease to take a moral high ground position on particular topics that you may not think directly impact your life. It's a very stark juxtaposition when you actually look at how involved we all are in this, whether wittingly or unwillingly, or we just have our head into the sand. It's, the cobalt and the amount of, I have a laptop in front of me, which has a rechargeable battery. I have a smartphone somewhere on this desk that has a rechargeable battery. I live in northwestern Montana. Not as many electric vehicles. They don't do just as well in the wintertime, but the push, I hear it everywhere in the U.S. and largely globally. And it's easy for people to drive their electric vehicle and fire off an email or post about, clean energy, or, I look at what I'm doing to save the environment, and really miss the greater picture of what it actually takes, or what is actually happening to provide them the opportunity to use those devices or those vehicles. And that is what I really wanted to dive in on, because I think we are all more involved with this than anybody would likely readily admit.
Look, absolutely. I mean, people like you and I, we cannot function for 24 hours without cobalt.
Can't do it.
We can't do it. You take cobalt out of our lives, and our lives come to a grinding halt. That's it. Because it is in every smartphone, every tablet, every laptop, just about every rechargeable thing, from your shaver to your e-scooter and e-bike. But it's the phone, tablet, laptop that we rely on and can't function without for 24 hours. Okay. And cobalt's in all those batteries. And now it's also in most of the EV batteries as well. Huge amounts of cobalt. And the reason cobalt's in all these rechargeable batteries is it allows them to hold maximum energy without catching on fire. And, we want cobalt, we want maximum energy, because then we don't have to plug things in as much. I don't want to plug in my phone 3 times a day. I don't want to plug in my laptop 2 or 3 times a day. And I certainly, if I buy an EV, I don't want to have to plug it in as I'm driving around town. I want to know I can do a road trip or whatever. So that requires holding more energy in the battery. The more energy you have, the more thermally unstable the battery comes, i.e. it could combust. Cobalt locks that down, holds maximum energy in a stable condition. And that's why it became so critical to rechargeable battery chemistries. Now, what people don't know, to your point, we're charging full steam ahead with our rechargeable lives, and this transition from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles, the global transition. What most people don't realize is roughly 3/4 of the world's supply of cobalt is mined in a small little patch of one of the poorest, most downtrodden countries in the world, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And it's mined in conditions that are utterly violent, destructive, and abusive to the people who live there, and completely destructive to the environment around them. So there are hundreds of thousands of some of the poorest people in the world, including tens of thousands of children, digging cobalt out of the ground with shovels, pickaxes, rebar, or by just their bare hands, filling it up in sacks for an income of $1 or $2 a day, and then selling that over to big mining companies that add it to the cobalt they excavate with their big machinery. All that cobalt is merged and then flows up the chain into our gadgets and cars. These people suffer enormous violence. Spines are shattered. Legs are broken. Cobalt is toxic to touch and breathe, and they're touching it and breathing it all day. Tens of thousands of children. There are thousands of women with babies strapped on their backs, breathing in toxic cobalt day in and day out. Now, add to that the fact that millions of trees have been clear cut to make place for giant industrial mines. These mining companies dump toxic effluents into the air, into the water, into the dirt. So the entire landscape has been contaminated. So the summary here that people don't know is our daily lives and the transition to electric vehicles is built upon a foundation of catastrophic violence and destruction in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.